Well, Adam, what about your Baby Yoda and Chicken McNuggets thing you were talking about?
Boy, every meme I see on Facebook is Baby Yoda, which I love Baby Yoda. Nothing puts you in a better mood than seeing Baby Yoda.
Now, have you actually watched the show, though?
Yes, I have. I'm episode 6. I have to get back, and that was quiet. That was loud.
What was there, 8?
There was 8, so I got 2 to watch left still. But big fan of the show and big fan of Baby Yoda. I've tried to stay away from the spoilers, but I see that I'm going to be sad, and Baby Yoda gets dropped or something, I heard. I don't know.
You want me to spoil it for you?
No, I just heard he gets dropped or something.
It's nothing. Has intern seen it yet? No. We have an audience here today, so he gets slapped around a little.
See, that's Yoda abuse, and I believe that is just Baby Yoda abuse. Is you should just be killed by the Mandalorian instantly.
So,
messing with the Yoda.
Well, that was the thing. So it's Jason Sudeikis was in the Stormtrooper outfit.
Right.
It's his voice, and he was in it. And he slaps him around a little bit. Oof. And people were Twittering him and Facebooking him. Like, literally, they were angry at him because he was slapping around Yoda.
You are not able to mess with the Yoda. And have you, like, the chicken nugget? Baby Yoda, for some reason, loves chicken nuggets from everything that I've been able to tell. I don't know if we get some insight from Disney on this one, but every meme, like, will have him eating... or have him eating chicken nuggets, and they call it like nuggies or.
My favorite
like that.
ones are the ones where it's like the husband. It's like the husband ready to help the wife in the kitchen, and she tells him to get lost, and he's holding a spatula. And at first he's all got that excited face, and then after the wife tells him to get lost, he's all looking all sad up at her, like, oh.
Like how much money did Disney lose by not having?
They did it on purpose, actually.
Well, I know they wanted to keep the spoilers away, but man, did they lose a lot of money though? Look like what. People on SD is taken off.
Oh my God!
Like anything Baby Yoda, you could just. That's a good scam, I think. Just put something that like resembles Baby Yoda that you could pretended made, and then people just send money to your PayPal account.
Well, they had that one where you could yarn one, but they couldn't put it together. They would send you the material to make one. Yeah, because they couldn't do it to get around the copyright and everything. So. But yeah, so Baby Yoda, hot topic today around the palatial Gestalt production studios.
People have not seen it, which people would be one person so far. But hey, well, we're gonna make sure that she sees all the Baby Yoda. Well, you're
only at the memes. I was like, you've only seen episode 6. So.
I'm going back to it for sure.
It's 8. Are they hour longs? So that's 8 hours of your life. What else did you do today, Adam? Where you didn't have 8 hours?
I was watching Criminal Minds today. Today was a Criminal Minds episode day for me. I got through season 14. I probably watched 5. The only good thing about like the little Android box I have, it doesn't ask me if I'm still watching, which I feel better about. Because I hate when Netflix asks me if I'm still watching. Because I want to be like, yes, I'm still watching. Leave me alone and let me watch.
So the other night I was watching The Witcher on Netflix, which is a new series, and it's hard to get into for me. Like, I love the concept and I love that fantasy stuff. But it time warps. And they don't tell you when it time warps. So, like, the first 2 episodes, I was like, what the F's going on right now? Like, I had no clue. So I look it up and I get the thing. Like, one of the first scenes in episode 1 actually doesn't happen for like 50 years later. And I caught on. One of the characters said, hey, I haven't seen you in about 20 years. And I was like, the F you talking about? You guys just met, like, right? So I found out later that it was like 20 years later, and it's other thing. So it kind of making more sense now. But anyway.
That's on my list to watch, is that one. I just finished You. Have you seen You?
No. But really quick, let me finish my thought. Quit interrupting, dude.
I'm sorry. You're on Netflix, and I got lots of Netflix to
Well, no, because it goes to the point of I was an episode and a half in, and it stopped in the middle of the episode and asked if I was still watching.
No kidding.
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half of that?
20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. And it stopped and said, are you still watching? And then, the way my TVs are, I have my remote controls on my phone. So I had to find my phone, to tell it I was still watching. I was all in a hurry. And then I fell asleep 5 minutes later. It was a waste of time. So anyway, Tell us about You.
You is a really good show.
You or me?
No, like the show's
You?
called You.
Or me?
It's me. You. I can relate to the dude for some reason. I mean, not the
Who's
killing
on?
part, but the guy's got some problems. I mean, but he doesn't look those problems. They just come to him for some reason. I don't know.
Wow,
but
Adam called
it's
himself
a good
out.
show. It's a good show. Check it out. Season 1 was really good. Season 2.
What channel's that on?
It's on the Netflix. It's on the Netflix channel.
The Netflix.
On the Netflix.
Well, I don't know. I gotta.
There's so much to do.
I was actually gonna watch The Mandalorian again because.
What, you have 8 extra hours of your life?
No,
to do that
but
with?
I was reading. Somebody was talking, or I was reading the other day, and somebody was talking about it, and I was like, I don't remember that. So that might have been a scene where I fell asleep or something, or I wasn't paying close enough attention, because I was like, what? When did that happen? Did you just make that up? So here at the Main Event Podcast, we're testing out a live feature. Right now, Adam has us up live on his Facebook page. We are testing out a live streaming service now, but we're just doing a test today. So we'll post the video actually when we're done at some point, but we did not go live today just because we're still working out some bugs and we just wanted to get this in. So things coming up here in the next couple weeks for everybody. Exciting times, right, Adam?
Yes, definitely. We got the Main Event Pod. We got Wrestling Fanatics coming to you. We're going to be dropping that podcast shortly. We just recorded that yesterday, so that'll be coming out shortly. And we got lots of good stuff going out.
And then all the other racing stuff we have that we always have at Gestalt Productions coming your way also. But the big news, Adam, is of course it is the time of year where all we're going to talk is football tonight because that's all we have time for.
Football, more football.
So before we get into the exciting news of the national championship coming our way on Monday night from New Orleans, dude, I was kind of surprised by this. Breaking news today. Mike Leach is leaving Washington State and going to Mississippi State. So he's going to SEC West. Is this a step up for him? Like, why?
I think it's kind of like a lateral step, isn't it? I mean, you're not going to one of the big programs. I mean, you're going to the SEC, but you're not going to a bona fide contender every year. I mean,
yeah,
you're getting out of the Pac-12. You're getting out.
It might be that I'm a Pac-12 guy and nobody pays attention to SEC West unless you're in it. I consider Mississippi State a step down, right? When have they ever done anything?
I don't know if it's a step down.
At least
but it's
Ole Miss
definitely a
does
lateral
something.
step.
At least Ole Miss does something every once in a while. And how's this thing? How exciting is it going to be to see Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and Mike Leach at Mississippi State? The Egg Bowl is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, that is going
the
to
next
be
couple
the
years.
rivalry is going to be flying for that one.
It's going to be
It's
phenomenal.
Gonna be like some personal stuff going on in that one, and I'm looking forward to that.
And then Saban in the SEC East, right? I believe he has to now deal with Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach because he's a no nonsense kind of head coach, and now he's got two goofballs. Well, he's got one jerk, I guess you can say, head coach, and then he's got Mike Leach, who's just a giant goofball and everything. So, man, there's going to be some fireworks in the SEC this year.
Yeah, anytime you get more games that matter in the SEC and there's more storylines that go into it, I'm all excited for it. And this is going to be a definite bona fide must-watch game now. So
another news that came out last couple of days that I was surprised by, and I've always liked this guy as a quarterback. I don't know why. I just think he's a decent quarterback, and that system he's in is kind of a run-first system. And this team always struggles, and they always lose a game. Like this year, they lost to South Carolina. But Jake Fromm, not from State Farm, but from Georgia, declared for the NFL draft after his junior season, which, really quick, I found interesting because his head coach, just after the bowl game, said that they have a problem with winning where they start to win in Georgia, and then they all read the headlines, and then they don't win. They lose those games, like the South Carolina game. And now Jake Fromm leaves after his junior year to go pro. I just found it interesting.
Yeah, but can you really not go pro? I mean, this guy's not going to leave millions on the table, right? I mean, it makes sense for him to come out.
I don't know where he's going to be drafted at. Like I said, I don't know his stats. I don't know. I put on Twitter the other day. I don't know his stats. I don't know, I see him play because SEC is on the thing all the time, and I actually root for Georgia for some reason. I don't know why.
Go Bulldogs.
I don't know why I picked up on the Bulldogs as a young guy, but I did. And I just always liked him, and it's just irrational how much I like this guy. Like, if he walked in the room right now, I don't know how I'd react. I have no idea why.
Would you give him a big hug?
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Jake! And not Jake from State Farm.
And maybe that's why I like him so much, is because it reminds me of the State Farm commercial. I don't know. It's weird. I find it oddly weird that I root for him, and I hope he does well, and I follow his games and everything, and I have no clue why. It's just weird to me that how... You ever have a crush like that, Adam?
Not that I'm going to admit to here on the Main Event Podcast. I'm just going to let you sit in this one all by yourself. But Jake is coming out the fifth rated quarterback in this draft. I'm trying to steer us back into right back into where we should be.
Oh, that was
I
just realized I'm in love with Jake Fromm.
Yeah, I was trying to, and he went back there. I was trying to let you stay away from that, but you wanted to go back, so we went back.
It just hit me.
All right, we got to get him a Jake Fromm jersey, and
oh man, I wish the Cardinals needed a quarterback. But anyway, those stats.
You never know with the Cardinals. They'll just draft him, right?
Right. They'll probably get rid of what's his name and
Kyle Murray, you're gone.
Start over
Fromm's
again.
In. Let's draft a quarterback.
Throwing my phone everywhere here. I got so excited about Jake Fromm, but he's the 5th rated quarterback in what?
ESPN Mel Kiper, Joe Burrows, 2A Justin Herbert, and Washington's Jacob Eason.
So the Washington quarterback's ahead of Jake?
Yep, according to Mel Kiper.
But here's two things, Kiper. Here's two things, though. Two very important things that should raise him up. One, you get a good quarterback, right? A decent quarterback that we know can pass the ball off for handoffs and things like that, because that's the Georgia's offense. And you can get insurance through State Farm.
He can call Jake anytime, right? 24/7. Jake is there to answer your call. Do you think when you call State Farm, like the 800 number, it's like, "Hi, this is Jake," just to make you feel at ease?
I call that State Farm number when I had that car accident back in like August or whatever.
Jake?
No,
I'm not.
No.
I
got
in my head. I have voices that I could do, but I'm not going to.
No, that's a funny joke to me because one of the broadcasts this year, and it might have been the SEC Network, they actually put on the scroll on the bottom when he was warming up, and they put Jake. Obviously, it was somebody that just created the graphic at the bottom, and then they were supposed to change it. But somebody put out before they changed it. Somebody put out, and it was Jake Fromm, and it said "not from State Farm," like next to it, instead of like Georgia quarterback or whatever. And then it had all his stats. So that's why I keep going back to that joke on that. So I think it was the SEC Network, but somebody did that this year to him. But yeah, I don't know. Just two news there. And then ASU had a punter that declared for the draft as a junior, who was a damn good punter, man. That guy could kick at the Sun Bowl. That guy was kicking 50-yarders. But why does a punter declare for a draft as a junior?
To get money.
Punters do get drafted, but
he graduated or something already.
Yeah,
so it's like,
and he comes from a football family, so they know what they're doing, all that stuff.
There was a big, But do you is that national news or is that just local? You think
that's local? I just
came across. You know what I mean? Like,
I just find it weird. I would have been.
Dude, where do punters get picked at? 5th, 6th,
4th, 5th?
I think 4th, as high as 4th.
I heard somewhere. Is Jason still watching this live? Because he logged out.
We don't have anyone now.
So don't announce it. We have thousands.
There's so many. Facebook can't even tell me how many there is.
Oh my God, the wave. If you've seen the Rise of Skywalker at the end, which I know you haven't,
I have not.
But at the end there, when Palpatine's talking and he's just got the crowd, a legion of people and everything.
Well, we're back up.
Yeah.
Trending worldwide.
Well, no, only reason I brought him up because I know when on his other gig he looked up the where punters were drafted and stuff like that. So, not very many get drafted, but they do pick them up 4th, 5th, 6th round from time to time if you need one. But Adam, I know it's local news, but the bigger thing on that was it was just I would have been shocked by that for any punter.
Well, right. I've never really heard of a punter declaring. Well, the punter's just there, It's like,
right?
Okay, dude's a punter.
You bring 12 in. You bring 12 in for practice, for camp, and you try them all out, and then you bring them in every Tuesday and try them out, and you move on with your life. So, but Adam, the big news Monday night, as we talked about earlier, LSU versus Clemson. National championship game. Here's some quick stats for you here.
Statman.
But
here.
the bigger news, well, first of all, are you excited for this game?
I am excited for this game. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to LSU in the first time since in a while to
2007.
2007, and it'll be interesting to see how much of a home field advantage they have, only being 80 miles from Baton Rouge.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is these people do these studies on Twitter, so they take Twitter hashtags and they decide what state's rooting for what team or whatever. And I said this to you earlier, but Arizona, who do you think they're rooting for?
Arizona went with LSU.
Clemson. They went with Clemson. So what did Illinois go for?
Illinois is going to go LSU.
Yes. Like I said, Illinois. I said Illinois.
It's Illinois.
So it's interesting how the breakup is. But here's my question. So Washington State and Boise, or Idaho, I guess, Nevada and Utah all are going for which team do you think?
Clemson.
No, LSU. Why?
I don't know. Why not?
Why?
Just to be different.
Makes zero sense.
Nothing.
Why Idaho is rooting for LSU, doesn't it?
It makes no sense. None of it really makes sense. Do you really think anyone in Illinois cares who wins LSU or Clemson?
Right?
So I'm waiting for Lovey to get on that bandwagon. Come on.
There's some guy in Boise, Idaho tonight just hashtagging up a storm about LSU.
He had some burner accounts and he just turned the poll all around.
He's like, I'm going to get one of these studies. Here's the other thing. Alaska.
What
do you think they're rooting for?
Oh, I'm going to go, let's see, Clemson because it's farther away.
LSU.
Everyone's going for LSU then. Why?
No, not everybody. Just in the West, those are the only LSU ones there. Oh. And then here's the interesting thing. Do you think South Dakota and North Dakota are having like a big war right now because South Dakota's the one on the bottom, right?
That would be South, Steve. You have North and South.
I know that. It was a joke.
Well, I sometimes I don't know. I got to clarify.
The South Dakota is going for LSU and North Dakota is going for Clemson. Battle of the Dakotas. Here's the other thing. North Carolina and South Carolina, do you think they're together? I'm not going to do it.
They don't even care.
Well, South Carolina
Carolina cares, but North Carolina, do they still? North Carolina still goes for Clemson, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They'd be like, I'm not going.
That makes sense because you graduate from, was it Columbia, South Carolina? Where are you going to go work? You're going to go work in Raleigh or in Charlotte or something?
Charlotte,
woo! Right. So just interesting on that front there. But some quick little facts for you guys on the game. Clemson's looking for its second straight title, Adam.
Second straight?
Third in its last 4 years.
Okay.
LSU's looking for its first title since 2007, as you said. The game is in New Orleans, which is, 90 minutes from Baton Rouge?
Yes, it's an 80,
roughly.
They said, 80 miles?
Yeah, 80 miles or something. Miles. Both teams are 14-0. Both teams are nicknamed Tigers. Both teams play in stadiums known as Death Valley. Clemson hasn't lost in 29 straight games. 29 straight games.
That's a lot of games.
Since they lost to Alabama in the championship.
So that's almost 3 seasons?
Yeah.
2.5.
Roughly.
Yep.
Carry the 1.
Divided by 2.
Add 1 on there.
All right, no, hold on.
Whenever they lost to Alabama in the championship game.
Thank you, Glenn North, for your math.
LSU has the Heisman Trophy winner and most likely the number 1 NFL pick. Clemson hasn't faced an offense like LSU. LSU hasn't faced a defense like Clemson, even with Clemson losing 3 starters on the defensive line to the pros last year. 14 days between the semifinal games and the championship. So who does that favor in terms of coaching and the game plans, I ask of you?
I think that this favors LSU. I think that it just gives them more time. They're basically able to... I just like LSU in this game. I don't know who I'm picking yet, but LSU, I think it just favors them in their style of games and gives them. I think both teams. 14 days is a long time, though. That's the other thing.
Well, I'm
Do you
thinking of it
really
the
think that
opposite.
they need 14 days?
No, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid and ridiculous. But the bigger thing is Clemson's been here before. So this is weighing on LSU, right? So LSU's like, we made the championship. We have to go against Clemson. So you have all the distractions of your finals in the semester, the holidays coming up. Clemson's been through this 4 years now. LSU's its first year.
There's so much turnover, though.
Eddie O.
The coaches have been through it, but the players.
No, but even then, Trevor Lawrence has been through it for 2 years now.
That's true. You got a point there.
Burrow hasn't been. Eddie O hasn't been in anything like this. When was the last time Eddie O was in a championship game as a head coach? Never. Right?
Well,
Dabo Swinney, this is his 4th year. His coaching staff is, as you talked about last week, his defensive coordinator is making $2.5 million. You mean to tell me that he's not ready to come up with something stellar for this game coming up here type deal? So, I don't know. It's just interesting on the coaching aspect. But Trevor Lawrence has never lost a college game. He hasn't lost a game since high school. That's an amazing step. Vegas favorites, which LSU is the favorite in this game, has only won twice. Both of those teams were Alabama in the playoff era. All signs point to an LSU victory in terms of watching it, scores, stuff like that. It's going to be a close game probably. But usually when you have a Cinderella year like this, or fairy tales generally don't end very good in real life.
No, it's set up for disappointment. Everything goes where this should be LSU's storyline, right? This should just finish out where they are your national champions. It's a foregone conclusion, but man, Clemson's still a good team, and I just, they possibly could have been the number 1 team. They were there the whole season. You could have had a case for them to be number 1 all the way through.
So to put a bow on this, and do you have anything else to add on the game before we throw this question out and we make our picks?
Yeah, the only thing that I'm looking, is Clemson. What type of offense are you going to see out of Clemson? Are you going to see more running the ball with Clemson, or is this going to be a very high scoring game for you? I'm looking for Clemson to have be more time consuming and clock efficient to have the ball more. And I think they're going to try and slow it down because they want to keep LSU's offense off the field.
Clemson can score a lot of points too, though. That's the question, right?
But you want a shootout. They don't want a shootout, right? You don't want a shootout against LSU.
Here's my question. LSU has dominated everybody they played. Everybody. LSU has dominated everybody they play except for who? Ohio State last game. So Clemson's defense is better than anything LSU has faced this year. So if Clemson comes out here and keeps this game close, you got to feel Clemson's going to win it, right?
Well, you know what? We're talking about the juggernaut offenses. How many games in a row do you think Clemson has scored 30 points or more? Won by 30 points or more?
They didn't have as many this year.
8 straight wins of 30 points or more. I mean, and then they, that Trump, the ACC title game was just a joke.
Yeah, Virginia. Virginia didn't show up.
No, not even close. So this is going to be one of those games where, man, are we picking with a spread? Dude,
no,
I'm not getting the spread in this one.
No,
I'm not getting the spread.
Well, we can do it both ways if you want. I'm fine with
if we can do it both ways, it's going to affect my pick.
So here's my question before we go into the pick. Can you pick the team that has shown dominance all year long, more so than the other team? They both have been dominant, but LSU was more dominant all year long against more better competition. Or do you go with the proven consistent winner over the past 4 years? What say you? Let's do straight up first.
Straight up, I'm going LSU.
I'm going Clemson.
Okay, so I'm going straight up LSU. It's just one of these. If you give me the points, I'm taking Clemson. But
what's
LSU,
the points? I don't even know.
6.
6?
Yeah, it's going to be a close game.
It's going to be a close game.
It's going to be a close game, and it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be. I'm trying to look up what the over is on this game, real quick for us.
I bet you it's 60.
Because, I'm trending to go on the under.
I'm seeing a lot of people picking 35, 30, 28, 27 type of a game.
Over under 69.5.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under on this one.
I think it's going to be a defensive battle. And that's why I think Trevor Lawrence impressed me so much in that Ohio State game. If this game is close, Clemson's going to sneak it out at the end if this game's close. And I don't see any way. LSU has more talent on the offensive side, but Heisman Trophy winners, he's been distracted. Heisman Trophy winner, all that stuff, right? It's his first game there. He's got all the hype of being the number one pick coming up. Trevor Lawrence is just a kid out there, just like, let's play some football. I got to come back for another year. I'm just telling you, man. I just think for some reason, I just have this weird feeling Clemson's going to keep it close. They might be behind for a lot of the game, but they're going to keep it close enough where they're just going to do what they did against Ohio State. And Trevor Lawrence is going to take the game over, and they're just going to sneak out a win at the end. And it's going to be fantastic.
So are you, just real quick before we wrap it up, are you a favor of this 14-day layoff?
No, it needs to be.
It should have been the next week.
Stand it. Yeah, a week later.
Monday?
What's wrong with the 8th?
Right. I think it could.
I know the 8th's on a Thursday this year, but what's wrong with the Monday? Monday.
The following Monday, right? After the first.
Yeah.
I
what's wrong
agree
with
with you. Definitely agree with you.
We don't need.
You get the people that saying Saturday, Sunday. Well, obviously that's NFL time. You're not going to get that.
No.
But
has anybody watched any of these bowl games they've squeezed in between?
I have not paid a bit of attention.
I don't even know who's won them.
I didn't care a bit about it.
I know Tennessee won their one because I saw a bunch of my Tennessee friends post that up there. But yeah, no, I mean, I just don't think LSU has had such an quote unquote easy year this year. I think that they're just going to get hit in the mouth and they're not going to know what to do when Clemson's defense just smacks them and dominates the beginning part of that game.
Yeah, I think that as long as it's close in the first half, there won't be a blowout. But there's always that chance of a blowout. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping.
There's always a chance.
I'm hoping for not.
No, but I'm definitely looking forward to sitting down on it. Absolutely. But Adam, we have exciting news coming out from a league that starts the weekend of the Super Bowl after the week after the Super Bowl.
The weekend after the Super Bowl, or the week after the Super Bowl. Yes, the XFL 2020, as they like to call themselves.
Yeah, so their logo's all like crazy and stuff like that. But so they came out with a rules package this thing, and I'm going to let you take this because you were all excited about it.
I was so excited about
this. So what are you most excited about, first of all? And we'll go from there.
I think that the most thing I'm excited for is the point after touchdown rule the XFL has. After a touchdown, the team has the option of running a play from the 2, 5, or 10-yard line. And those plays are worth 1, 2, and 3 points, respectively. The team must run an offensive play. No kicking plays are allowed. So there is no point after attempt. So for me personally, I'm excited to see them go for 3 from the 10-yard line because that opens your playbook up so much more, right? So you're gonna be more.
Okay. But realistically, how many people are going to do that? What do the analytics say?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more than you think it's going to be because it opens the playbook. 2 yards. What are you going to be most of
the red zone is the hardest place to score from because the field shrinks because the defense has 4 corners.
Well, the field shrinks even more when you're at the 2-yard line than when you're at the 10.
But you can run the ball there at least or pass it. You're passing it from the 10 if you have one play. One thing I do like about it is, extra points are ridiculous. We all agree on that. But teams have been missing them lately, so it makes it kind of exciting.
Well, since they moved it back.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Since they moved it back, which is good.
So I agree. It's a little different. It's going to be interesting to see, poor kickers, getting Dan Shalakovakovic, the kicker, or Lonesome Kicker song from, was that Adam Sandler or whoever? It's going
Bobby
away.
Boucher. Give me the football.
That's an interesting one, but the kickoff one is really weird, right?
Yeah, the kicker kicks from the 25-yard line.
Both teams are 5 yards apart from each other.
Must kick the ball in the air and between the opponent's 20-yard line and the end zone.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, they get a penalty.
Yeah, the out-of-bounds kicks and kicks fall short of the 20-yard line was on an illegal procedure penalty. Give the ball to 45.
45. That's crazy.
45. You're 20. Wow, that's a good one.
And if it goes in the end zone or out of the end zone there, what do they get it at? 25 or something?
The 35-yard line. It's called a major touchback.
So you're going to need
what I would have liked them to see them do is if the kicker could kick it through the uprights, it should have been points. I would have loved to see that. That's a rule that they should be.
Right.
And the other thing, and one of the rules I didn't like.
But then if he misses it, then they have to be penalized points.
You missed the 80-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah. So if you go for it.
So you have to call ahead of that you're going for it?
Well, yeah, because you have to call out your onside kicks in this league. There's no surprise onside kicks. If you want to do an onside kick, you have to go to the ref and say, we're doing an onside kick.
Would you have liked to see the XFL to make the safety worth at least 3 points? It's the hardest thing to do, and it's only worth 2 points.
No, I'm fine with that.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
See, I even want the NFL to change it.
So the kickoff thing is even more weird because players cannot move until the guy receives the ball or it bounces, and then 3 seconds they can go. So there's going to be a ref on the field that has his hand up.
1,002, 1,003.
And then he's going to lower his hand, and then the players are like, go. But so here's the predicament that I got, right? And I'm no expert on this or anything. Obviously, nobody is. But
XFL Insight.
So do you try to kick the ball in the 20 to have him return it because you're going to get a huge return because the players can't run until the guy touches it or hits the ground. So you're going to get the ball at the 35, 40. You're thinking in theory, unless you get like the 2-yard line, you're going to make it out to the 20, 25, right?
Right.
Or you just kick in the end zone and give it to him at the 35. Like if there's a strategy there.
I think that you're not gonna see the strategy until the season starts, till it's tested a little bit to see what the run back is on this 3-second rule, and if the average starting position is a 40, why wouldn't you just kick it out then? You might as well at that point.
Well, or the 35 or whatever. Yeah, that's the thing. So we have to get some, and obviously they're doing it in practice to see how it works, so they'll have an idea, But that first game is going to be interesting, and then the strategy might change right after 3 weeks. And I think you're going to see some of the coaches, like your boy that used to coach at, he's the Vipers coach, Tressel. He might just randomly, do the odd thing just to try it out.
He's just odd to begin with, so.
Right. So what do you think though about the double forward pass, where you can pass the ball forward twice as long as you're behind the line of scrimmage?
So what you're going to see, the way I basically dumbed it down this week on the show is just basically. You get a running back, a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage, and then you throw it downfield, right?
Yeah. So instead,
you're out of the shotgun. I mean, because there's only so many ways this play works, right?
Well, here's the thing: you could do a trick play, right? Snap it over your quarterback's head. Running back goes back and gets it, right? And then he could throw it 10 yards up the field, and then the quarterback can then throw it down the field again.
I want to see that in the XFL.
You haven't ran that in Madden yet? You haven't ran that in Madden?
No, I've not run that in Madden, but I want to run that in the XFL game for sure.
I don't know. I just came up with that right now sitting here. That sounds stupid to try, but I mean, you could try different things. But that's the only thing is, I mean, what's the difference between a running back that's 1 yard behind scrimmage or a receiver catches the ball 1 yard behind the scrimmage and then throws it, or a guy, even or in front of you know what I mean? You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
What's the difference between being 5 yards back behind the receiver and being 4 yards even or in front of the receiver?
According to the XFL, because they break this down and tell you everything.
Studies.
They do this. So the rationale part of this, the double pass is one of the most exciting plays in football, and the XFL aims to add excitement while maintaining traditional football. The double forward pass updates the rules to make the double pass less risky because the first pass may fall incomplete rather than becoming a fumble on the lateral.
So if you don't complete, because if you throw it forward, well, that's stupid.
What? They have rational here. Come on now, give it a shot, Steve.
That's just dumb.
Don't.
I like how they're trying to sell it as this is gonna be exciting because if he drops it, it's incomplete.
Well, because it means they'll go for more.
But you won't know. You won't know if it's a double pass if the guy drops it or he throws it wrong. How are you going to know it's a double pass?
Because there's going to be someone that's going to say that this guy was open downfield. I mean, come on now.
You're not going to know. You're just going to think the guy was throwing the ball to the guy in the flat.
So do you think the XFL got overtime right? Because I hate overtime in the NFL.
So
I don't like that the touchdown ends it still.
I love that.
I don't like it. No, give the other team a shot.
Nah.
Come on.
Yeah, you had a shot
You
in.
sat through 3 hours of football.
You had it. See, my problem with that is you had a shot in regular time, right? First of all, you can't play forever. Second of all, and oh my God, how exciting! And we'll talk about this in a minute when we get to NFL. How exciting was that Vikings victory because he lobbed that ball right into Rudolph and finished the game right there. A golden touchdown.
How exciting would it have been if Minnesota had defended again?
Oh yeah. So this is my point.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
Rudolph catches the touchdown. No, listen to this. So Rudolph catches the touchdown, right? And then they kick off again. And then they go down and they go 3 and out.
Then it's over.
They go for, oh my God, how anticlimactic can you get, Adam?
Then it's over because the defense stepped up, did their job. Good for them.
Yeah, how anticlimactic can you be?
Come on.
It's like 4th down and they drop back and it's 4th and 12 and he throws an incomplete pass and everybody goes, hey, Vikings won. Woo. Instead, what do you get? You get Kyle Rudolph celebrating in the end zone. You get the team mobbing him and jumping around.
Crap game coming forward is what you get.
Well,
come on, man.
I'm just saying that's why it's exciting to end in the fashion it ends now.
No, it's not.
You would rather see a boring. You would rather see a boring end to a game than
How's it boring?
fantastic.
Did you get 3 and out? You did the job. Good. I'm glad for you.
So then everybody just stands around and is like, "Hey, we won." Vikings go, "Hey, we won. We stopped them."
Every baseball game should end with a walk-off. Is that what you?
Oh my God, it'd be a lot more exciting.
Oh my God, stop yourself.
Yeah, a lot more exciting.
Anyway, moving on to a better way of going through overtime is the 5-round stage. The round will consist of one offensive play per team. Each possession starts at the 5-yard line. And the offensive team has 1 play to score. The team with more points after the end of 5 rounds is the winner. And there's only 5, so it can't be a tie. Well, I guess it could be. What happens if it's a tie? I got to read more.
It doesn't
now
say.
I'm confused.
I know.
Oh, if the teams are tied after 5 rounds, the round continues until one team is leading at the conclusion of the round, Steve. So that just means it goes 5.5. It goes the whole 6. Both teams get the ball until one team can't do the job, and then it's over.
For 1 play.
For 1 play. 1 shot, 1 opportunity.
No, it's 5 opportunities, Adam.
Well,
it's 5 opportunities, Adam.
But if it's tied, it becomes 1 opportunity until everything goes around.
It's like a hockey shootout, which when hockey shootouts first started, they were the most exciting things ever. Like in a regular season hockey shootout, they were so exciting, right?
Yeah.
Like you're all like, woo, hockey shootout in regulation. And now you watch one and you're like, oh my God, why are we going through this exercise of boredom?
Well, I'm not the hockey 101 guy, but they play, 5-minute overtime rule first, right? And then it goes to shootout? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
They take a player off.
Yeah, they go 4-on-4.
4-on-4.
Yeah.
And 4-on-4 is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Right? It's a faster game, right? Plays faster.
But guess what they do also?
What do they do?
First team to score wins. Why? Because it's more exciting, Adam.
Oh, come on, man. Stop. No. But, Jesus. Steve, you're wrong in this one. You're just plain ass wrong.
Dang.
That's all I'm going to say.
Got an ass out of that. Wow.
Yeah.
The XFL one, only reason the XFL one intrigues me, because the college one's good enough for college where both teams get the ball and you start at the 25 and you do a drive. This one intrigues me because it's 1 play. You got 5 shots. But you got 1 shot.
You had 5 shots, Steve. You corrected my math.
You got to get in the end zone or get a penalty, because if you get a penalty, then you get another play. So
from the 1-yard line, then.
Yeah, so it's just it's a little bit intriguing from that side because, like I said, 10-yard line isn't easy to convert from. Teams struggle in the red zone, usually.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was going back to it earlier where I like having the 10 yards. I think that it just makes the playbook better.
Yeah, so no, I'm interested in it just because of the 1 play and then the other team. So whatever happens, right, and then the other team gets the ball. So obviously you want to – but there's no coin flips. So who gets the overtime ball first? Because originally it's the home team gets to kick off or something or receive or something. Yeah. There's no coin tosses, so they have to do something with the overtime.
I'm trying to scan through this because that's the one thing that I don't know off the top
Paper,
of my
rock,
head.
scissors is our in-studio audience is saying paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah.
I would actually like that.
That would be kind of fun. be interesting. Give it, I'm scrolling through here and I'm not pulling it up fast here. Sorry about that.
You know what? I don't. I know. I don't think it's
for
in
scoring
that.
part. Each team in extra point is 2 points.
Yes.
So that's.
But who cares? Because you have to convert and stop the other team, and then you win. So who cares how many points it is?
It actually doesn't tell you.
It's another section.
Oh, it's another section.
Because I saw it where there's no coin. It's in the no coin flip section, and I think it's visitor gets the ball first. It's based off of home team, but anyway, we'll have to look that up. I don't remember either. Here's what I'm most intrigued by.
How about common sense rules? And they even just make it common sense. It's just like telling the NFL, yeah, this just makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do this way.
This is what I'm most excited about, is the speeding up the game aspect of it. The 25-second play clock, which ends up being like 32 because it takes approximately 7 seconds to spot the ball, which the XFL is going to have one man to do that. One person is responsible to spot the ball. One man. Job is to get a ball and put it down.
One man, one chance.
I'm just fascinated. How do I get that job? It's a referee, but
you send your resume to Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah, right.
So that will get back to you.
So that speeds up the internet, obviously. I mean, the internet.
Speeds up the internet.
I don't have internet on my notes right here, so that's why I just said it. I'm trying to figure out why I don't have internet on my notes. Which is why I couldn't look up the rule I asked you about. I was hoping you could find it.
Yeah,
but then everybody gets 2 timeouts. Only 2 timeouts per half. Running game clock, except for the last 2 minutes. So they want the game at 2 hours and 45 minutes instead of the 3:15 or whatever it is for the NFL. So they have the comeback period, which is the one where the ref runs the ball in and spots it. But then the running game clock, so anything over 2 minutes, the clock runs no matter what. But here's the nice thing I like. Get your orange slices and Capri Suns in a hurry, kids, because you only have 10-minute half times.
Making that fast.
I think that's great.
That's great.
It's going to put more pressure on the coaches to change their game plans, right, and figure out what's going on. Does a lot in terms of the strategy side. So forget about the game of speed. Just imagine what the team's going to go through. Because a lot of times you go in the locker room, you'll get treatments, you'll get, that giant needle in your knee or ankle or back or whatever is hurting you. You got 10 minutes now to do that. So I'm really excited about that side of it.
Yeah, and it's gonna speed across the game. You're gonna see, and a lot of it is the NFL needs the longer halftime shows just to go so they can go through the recapping of the scoring and everything else. I mean, there's a point behind.
We need a Genesis halftime show. Seriously, Adam?
I need James Brown to give me my football information from across the league. You need
some band that you've never heard of to play one song in black and white at halftime? Really?
Yeah, well, no, because I don't care about the Monday Night Football most of the time. So I'm just looking for James Brown to give me my information on the Fox halftime show.
When you go to a game, the thing that always amazes me is the amount of people that go and get their food and drinks at halftime. Like, come on. I know. Come on, rookies. You go down with like 5 or 4 minutes to go. And then you sit there and you watch the unknown band you've never heard of sing at halftime, or the high school, the Pop Warner team of the 4-year-old kids that are just popping each other on the field. And that one cute kid that's running with the ball, and everybody's like, "Ah!" And then you got that one a-hole kid that just lays him out, and everybody goes, "Yeah!"
Okay,
it's awesome.
So you've had this problem with catches and what's catch and what's not catch, right? We have this problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So the XFL is symbolizing this for you. Okay. To catch a ball, that means a player secures control of a live ball in flight before the ball touches the ground. So that's what the Charles, the Detroit.
But they don't address how you
what was his name?
Yeah, Megatron.
Megatron. Yes.
Yeah, so you can put the ball in the thing as long as you catch it.
As long as you catch it.
Yeah.
Touches the ground, inbounds, any part of his body's. And then
it's a 1 foot catch rule.
1 foot catch rule, 1 arm catch rule. Whatever hits
elbow, butt,
whatever hits the ground first, maintains control of the ball. long enough to him to perform and act common to the game. Long enough to pitch, hand the ball, advance it, avoid, ward off an opponent. So anything that's football related means that you got to catch.
The nice thing about this rule is they actually did a survey of like 1,000 some odd players, even some in the NFL, and like everybody overwhelmingly said a catch is with your hands, not your feet. So that's why they're focusing on, as long as you're in bounds, a catch is, if you catch it in your hands, it don't matter what else happens.
Right.
Which is exciting because the NFL has gotten so convoluted where, you know, are they juggling it? Does it move a quarter of an inch when we slow it down into slow replay?
When he's coming to the ground,
yeah.
and he's both feet are in bounds, but the ball moves just a minute. Of course
the
ball moves. Come on, he's
we saw the laces move, you know, half of an inch and on there, so he doesn't have total control of it. No, that's exciting to see there. So they'll focus on that a little bit more. I mean, the only reason catches are a problem right now is just because the NFL has overregulated it and nobody knows what a catch is. You know,
it's been years since we know what a catch is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
And they change it every year,
right?
It's like, come on, man.
Here's the other thing that we just talked about. Replay only from the booth. No coaches challenges. And it's limited in scope. So it's not going to be the same. You know, there's no pass interference penalties where you can review it. It's very limited in scope. They're going to allow referees to make mistakes. They're going to allow all that stuff. And it's for the time or whatever. But the other thing is they can go back. Also, within last 4 minutes of the game, I think it is, they can go back and be like, "Oh, we're going back." It's not when the next snap is. It's we can go back to a certain point in the game and start over if it's that bad of a call.
Yeah, that's the one that's kind of concerning, though. I mean, don't you think that they should be fast enough to?
Yeah, we can see it from our home. We can see it from our homes from the Fox telecast.
Look at this. You might want to take a look at this. You know.
That's what's annoying about it is it takes the referees on the field and in the booth to figure out if something's a catch or not in, 2 minutes. Meanwhile, we've seen 72 replays that show that it is or isn't a catch, on our couches.
So one of the rules that they can look at is disqualification of a player.
Yes.
So that's good.
Common sense.
I like that.
But they don't have a targeting rule.
Yeah, so it's got to be kind of a.
Well, they haven't announced a targeting rule yet.
It's probably coming. So it's like,
can they hit people over the head with chairs?
No, that is XFL 2000. This is XFL 2020, where there is no your Jim Ross and Jesse the Body Ventura are not your play-by-play teams.
Are there tables and trash cans and ladders underneath the field that they can pull out?
There's not even cheerleaders on the sideline for what we know of at this point.
Yeah, they haven't announced that yet.
That's one thing that I'm really concerned about because that was part of the whole XFL was the cheerleaders were part of the storyline.
Well, they don't pay enough. They make more at the strip club in the XFL than they do on the sidelines.
And they brought the strippers were actually the cheerleaders for the original.
I just got a
XFL.
weird look from our studio audience over here, but that was the thing. The first time the XFL played was
like, and they wanted to pretend that the players were sleeping with the cheerleaders. It was really kind of interesting, wasn't it?
Yes.
God bless the old XFL.
Anything else on the rules that were released this week, Adam, for the XFL?
I'm excited about a lot of this. I'm ready for it. Let's get the Super Bowl over with. Come on, I'm ready for the XFL. Let's fast forward.
Couple more weeks, my man. Couple more weeks. Man. 3 weeks. January 2nd, I think, is the Super Bowl. So February 2nd. Sorry.
We're already past that.
Yeah, well, whatever. So here's the deal, Adam. So next week, your homework. We need to pick our XFL teams.
I don't do homework.
I know.
Just ask anybody.
Yeah, well,
I found somebody to do it.
Well, have somebody else.
All right.
We are adopting our XFL teams for the year.
I'm ready for this.
I know you are.
I don't even need a week.
So we'll do our announcements. We'll do all that stuff next week. Make a big show of it. Pop, blue, graffiti.
Woo!
Yeah.
Is there jerseys? Wait, Ron Rivera said
no. No ping pong tables.
There's supposed to be a jersey here, damn it.
So that's what we'll do next week is pick our teams and get ready for that because college football will be wound down, obviously, and then the NFL begins then. So, yeah, no, like I said, I like the way the XFL is rolling everything out. They're doing it a little bit at a time.
They're making
getting your excitement
people
up.
talk about, right? I mean, you get the uniforms, so people talked about the uniforms for a day or two, and then they kind of faded, and now it's like, hey, we're going to do rules now, and then we're going to do this.
Well, then it was
week,
balls first.
But I'm just saying, there's different things where all of a sudden that they're always trying to stay relevant, and that's probably coming from, the NFL doesn't let you do anything without thinking about them, right?
It's a full season deal, right?
Exactly.
So I'm even seeing on Twitter, because I follow all the teams, like they're broadcasting from their practices and, showing plays and stuff like that. So little clips of what's happening in practice and whatnot. So, I mean, they're letting you behind the scenes. And in NFL practice, you don't get that.
Yeah,
access.
And what you're going to see is I'm really, when they were coming out with this league, they were talking about how they're going to be more, they're going to be interactive as far as the fantasy. I mean, is there really going to be an XFL fantasy thing? I mean, that's what I'm waiting to see. Is it, what are they going to do there too? So,
dear God,
let me follow my XFL team. Damn it,
that's the last thing we need in life.
Right? Steve's on a Saturday. Damn it, my XFL team is not working out.
I don't do that for my NFL fantasy teams, let alone.
Oh no, you did. I saw you on the little leagues. Come on now.
Only when I was in the playoffs, and I knew I went, oh crap, I think I got my butt kicked today in the playoffs because. None of my guys, all my guys got hurt at the same time, when I was in the playoffs. So,
right.
So
wait, hold on. We gotta have production cue the music, please. I need to cue the Fox music.
Okay. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, we need a.
If we get this video posted that we're testing here, I've already made a few mistakes on it, but we're gonna have a nice our live graphics. We're gonna have a nice graphics on there, and like I've already just messed up again. So you'll see me staring at the screen a lot and doing all this weird stuff and playing with graphics as I'm testing it out this week. But do your graphic. Do your noise.
Yeah. I'm confused now. The time has passed. It's fine. Play the Fox music here. We're getting into the NFL. I apologize to the Bills Mafia. I apologize.
Your
I feel like
team went down quick.
I feel that I jumped on the Cohen curse, and I picked the Bills. And so personally, I think I should pick a team that I really want to lose this week, and it would work out fine. But I'm not going to do that. But I'm just saying.
A lot of people picked the Bills.
That I feel bad.
Including me.
Yeah, the Bills were, man, what a game though, right?
Yeah, the amazing thing about that, so obviously the Texans beat the Bills 22-19 in overtime. And gosh, the Texans were a mess that whole first half. Second half, they weren't much better, but they at least could put some stuff together. And Deshaun Watson, how poised is he in overtime, where he makes that great play where he gets out of trouble, throws the ball down the field for the game-winning field goal. J.J. Watt returned from injury.
He did?
Yeah, I know.
No,
right? You wouldn't know it, Adam.
No,
since
did not. He did not
since the
back.
broadcast cut from everything, I swear to God, a guy came out the field, grabbed a Gatorade cup, and they cut to J.J. Watt after that to get his reaction to the guy drinking out of the Gatorade container.
Yeah, I mean it
was overkill.
They pumped it down our throat that J.J. Watt was back. If you didn't know, J.J. Watt returned from season-ending injury. The doctor gave him a glimmer of hope.
Pec injury.
A glimmer of hope, and he returned to prevail, to will the Texans.
By the way, according to the broadcast, because by the way, he only played on third downs, passing of plays. He didn't play that often, and man, he made a big play where I think it was a sack, but at least he hurried the quarterback, Josh Allen. And they were like, "Oh, this is going to turn the Texans around. They're motivated now because J.J. Watt is fired up on the sideline." It was just, I had enough. A lot of people had enough, but I had enough. But the bigger thing to get out of it is, oh my God, Josh Allen was making everybody motion sick because he was like a roller coaster, man. He went out there and just looked like garbage one drive, and then the next drive he'd take him down the field, and then a roller coaster.
But that's been him all year, right? I mean, it's not. Yeah. He's really streaky. I mean, it's. You can see Josh Allen is like two different quarterbacks in the same game. His
problem is that he's young and he doesn't know what to do with the ball when he gets into trouble. So he'll drop back like that 20-yard loss there in the fourth quarter when they were in field goal position to win it. And he drops back and he tries to find a play to make, and he ends up going backwards 20 yards, gets sacked, he doesn't know what to do with it at that point in time, and he's got to learn that.
And he's a young quarterback, but that also goes back to play calling, right? Where you're putting
No, that was all quarterback.
You think he's audibling too much, or just like
no, that was all quarterback.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean they were in field goal range.
I'm trying to give Josh Allen.
I know. Well, dude, I'll take it. I mean, he's a maverick, kind of. He's out there and he throws the ball. It was just even more I guess it was more attention getting. Just because they dominated that Texans team, for the most part, and they had chances to win it, and they just couldn't get over that hump, which I would kind of expect to see from a young Bills team, right?
Yeah, no, it was. I really thought that they had that locked up when it was 16-0 at halftime.
Yeah, but I didn't think they had it locked up then because the Texans looked like they had done nothing, but at the same time, you're like, God, they got to show something at some point, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting such a collapse, and I think you have to call it a collapse, right? To me,
well, no, because they still had a chance to win it. It wasn't like the Texans came back and then, the Bills never had a chance again. They had up. I mean, they tied it up at the end of the game to go to overtime, and that was after a couple of bad drives where they could have won it. So no, I wouldn't call it a collapse. I mean, the Texans aren't a bad team.
They're not a bad team. I don't know. I really
the only reason they lost was Deshaun Watson made some amazing play that got him over the hump. So.
Yeah, no, he did.
But your Bills are out.
But J.J. Watt is back, right?
I rumor has it.
Okay, just making sure everybody knows that he's back.
Yeah. God, it was upsetting how many times. It was just like the offense would do something, and then they just cut to J.J. Watt stone-faced on the sideline. And it was like, really? He had nothing to do with that offensive drive right there, broadcast team. So in other big news last weekend, so your adopted team's out. Mine's still in it because they haven't played yet. So the big game of the weekend where this phenomenon cracks me up where, oh, my God, the Patriots lose, and everybody comes out of the woodwork and just becomes a-holes about it to everybody. But the Titans came. Ryan Tannehill only threw the ball 15 times, but he gets the win 20-13 over the Patriots. So the interesting thing here is all Ryan Tannehill did was hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. 34 carries, 182 yards. Pretty solid day for a running back.
That's a great day for a running back.
Right? In the playoffs.
Yeah. And what did he have? 15 under 15 pass attempts, right?
He had 15. Yeah, Tannehill only threw the ball 15 times the whole game.
But I saw some weird stat with quarterbacks that throw over 40 passes in their
they lose.
Yeah. They lose. But you just never see.
It's because they're usually behind.
Yeah, you just never see, but you don't really see in playoff football. Excuse me.
Adam's dying on us over here, folks. Medic.
Anyway, sorry about that. But, I mean, almost 200 yards on the ground. And those, I watched the game. It wasn't like it was, and 280-yard runs.
No.
This was he was working for these
34 carries,
working for these carries. So.
And that was the thing. The Patriots just couldn't stop them. But it did two things, right? It kept the ball out of the Patriots' offense hands, which if it's not obvious that the Patriots have no offensive talent anymore, like everybody's like they've never had it. They had more talent in the past than they had this year. Even Edelman wasn't even that great, at this game. He does that little short underneath passing play. So this leads to a huge offseason for the Patriots, right? Will Brady return? He's already announced he's not retiring. Will Belichick come back with the Patriots? Will they get their wide receiver help and running back? They got holes to fill. I think this is kind of the beginning of the end of this team. Doesn't mean they're not going to go and win 14 games next year because of their division. It doesn't mean they're not going to make it to the first round of the playoffs again. But the team that was good enough to where you always thought they can come back, I think might be over at this point. It definitely was over this year.
Do you see I can see Brady playing for somebody else, but can you see Belichick having a different quarterback?
Well, he wanted one in Garofalo, and they made him get rid of him. So Brady isn't going anywhere.
You don't think so?
His daddy that he kisses on the lips like they're married, Robert Kraft.
He's going down that road again.
Will not let him go anywhere, Adam.
Well, he just said that he hopes that
Tom Brady and him are going to be visiting massage parlors here.
Oh, you had to go
up.
there. They're not going to Florida. They're staying.
They have him in. I'm sure they have him in
Then
Massachusetts.
why did he get on the plane to go to Florida?
Well, because he lives down there.
Okay. Anyway, and he can do that, right? Kraft said, "I just hope and pray we fit into his plans," referring to Tom Brady in his interview with Peter King. He's unique in a kind of leader he is. His work ethic, his selfness, nature, everything. Think about it. He's been with us 20% of my NFL life.
Oh,
that's sentimental.
This is like a Jason Garrett Dallas Cowboys thing, where Tom Brady's going to be like 50 and be like, "I'm still playing," and Robert Kraft's going to be like, "Oh, good man, we got you, buddy. Get out there, buddy.
We got you.
You're all skin and bones, and
we got you.
You get hit, you're going to turn to dust, but we're going to still throw you out there because I love you, man. Come make out with me." With Robert Kraft.
Jesus. Can we move on?
He oddly kisses people. It's odd. Anyway.
What's wrong with one person showing another person?
When it's your son or your owner of your team, it's weird and gross, Adam. You know what? It's
Rules according to Steve.
It's 20
on the Main Event Podcast.
Not me. It's not just me. It's 2020, Adam. And
I'm putting up a Twitter poll right now.
It's 2020, Adam, and that's not even acceptable.
Going down like a line that
there's a lot of
it.
There's a lot of acceptable things in this world.
That's not one of them.
I've been to Tijuana, and I've seen some interesting things.
What did you see in Tijuana?
Okay, so
damn.
Everybody got on. Let's look at a clip.
Whoa. Steve, put your phone away. All right. Moving on to another upset.
Yes. So the game that everybody, you, me, the world, even the Fox broadcasting team before this game was like, there's no chance that they're winning this. Vikings go in and just throttle the Saints 26-20, and the Vikings, the 6th seed, move on. How do you feel about this one?
I hate it. The Vikings are terrible. The Saints had a bad day.
Says the Bears
Drew
fan.
Brees just cannot win. Drew cannot win when it matters.
Except for that one Super Bowl.
One. How many should the Saints have won?
Okay, and last year when they lost the game because the referees misblew a horrible call. And that other year the referees made a horrible call when they had the lead and they lost because of it.
I got excuses for Drew Brees. He can't get the job done. That's the problem. And now you have another team that's going to advance in the playoffs, the Minnesota Vikings, that don't belong in here. The Saints should not have lost that game.
You and I watched this game, and that Vikings defense throttled that Saints. Mike Zimmer had a game plan for that defense that I don't know where it came from. I was even sitting there like, this defense is effing good, and they're shutting down the Saints. It was amazing
Drew
to
Brees
watch.
lost that game more than anything. Minnesota won that game.
You are drunk with NFC North anger.
I have watched Kirk Cousins get destroyed.
Kirk Cousins didn't win him that game. That defense won him that game.
It's not even. This is. I pray that they just get spanked and sent back to Minnesota where they belong, ice fishing,
and a
week later than they should have.
And what would that do for you, Bears fan? Then they're great. So they're sitting on the couch with you, but they're going to have 2 playoff play checks while you don't. So
it's not about the Bears. I just don't think the Vikings are that good.
I know nobody does. Which we're going to
Teddy
talk about
Bridgewater
coming up
would have
here.
played, I think that the Saints would have won the game.
So the Vikings defense dominated that game, shut down the Saints offense. Kirk Cousins did enough to win the game. He didn't cost them the game, which he is known to do.
Drew Brees did.
How did Drew Brees lose him the game?
Didn't score enough points.
He didn't have the okay.
Didn't score enough points.
He was getting
threw the
abused
interception
back there.
when he didn't need to. He threw an interception right when the game was on the line. Did he not throw the interception when the game was on the line?
I'm just staring blankly into the camera.
I'm just telling you that he threw an interception when the game was on the line. And that's the last thing I remember that game is the interception.
Okay. I love talking football with rival teams fans. It's so awesome.
Can we get into Seattle at this point then?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to surprise you on this take.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Seattle takes down the depleted, injury-riddled Eagles, 17-9. Carson Wentz makes it through the whole season with no injuries. Doesn't go out at all. Goes in the second quarter. Javion Clowney makes a hit against, I guess you can call it a hit against Carson Wentz. Knocks him out of the game. Concussion protocol. What do you think about that hit?
I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was egregious. I think it was a football play.
The problem is, and this is what I hate about technology today, is when you slow it down, it looked horrible. But when you watch it, I know.
You can slow down any play in football and make it look terrible.
You can slow down anything. God, oh my God. I used slow-mo on my iPhone 11 one day, and I saw things on my face that I never want to see again. That you don't see anywhere else when you do this. Yeah, that video is not making that video's been into the Ethernet of deletion right there. But my point is, you slow stuff down and you see things that you've never seen before. Anyway,
when you slow down, when they're reviewing a catch and you slow down, you're like,
I know.
Wait, maybe, possibly passing. No,
I mean, did the hit deserve a penalty? Maybe, but Carson Wentz was a runner, and that's the thing people are missing is he dove forward. He was a runner. Was it? If I would have been okay if they would have thrown a 15-yard penalty, to be honest with you, but they didn't, so I'm fine with it. Let's move on with our lives. Josh McCown came in, tried to pull a Nick Foles. And didn't.
Give it a valiant effort. Josh McCown, good for him. I mean, he tried. And my take on this, I mean, Russell Wilson, what a great guy, though. Asked the reporter, his first thing he asked, how Wentz was right away. You know what I mean? In the post game. And it was just you can't dislike that guy, can you?
A lot of people do. A lot of people don't think he's good. He is sneakily good. And is that a word? Did I just make up a word? I should. You know what? We should be making up words for Russell Wilson because he is sneakily. He is schnockmalacalous. He is schnockmalacalous. And all other made up words that I'm doing right now. Amazing out there. And you're right. I mean, game's over, and he's just like, how's Carson Wentz? Tell us how he is. So,
I mean, it's not even sneakily good, though. Sneakily.
People don't give him his due, man.
31 touchdowns this past season, only 5 interceptions.
People don't give him his due, dude. People do not think he's a good quarterback.
Completion percentage not the greatest. But what he can do with his, just that I can just go back to those Seattle, San Francisco games where you're just like.
Well, that's my point. Is I've seen him play since he's been in the league because he plays the Cardinals twice a year, and I see his games. So maybe I just have a different perspective than the rest of the league. Now I'm choking. Russell Wilson.
Choked up with emotion.
No, he's good. It's just he's, like I said, just people don't give him his dues, and you just kind of think of, and we'll talk about it in a minute when we get to the other deal here, on this weekend's divisional games. But yeah, I mean, it's no surprise Seattle beat the Eagles. The Eagles were just, and then once Carson Wentz went down, there was just no chance. I love Josh McCown. My favorite part on that is people were talking about Josh McCown's play when he was with the Cardinals back in 2003. Oh my God, it makes you. I remember watching that Minnesota when he knocked Minnesota out of the playoffs. When he in Green Bay got in and he threw that ball to Nate Poole in the corner of the end zone at Sun Devil Stadium. I was there, and then I was all excited, I was there, I saw that, and then I got all depressed because that was 2003. I was like, oh my God, I was a young guy back then. Dang.
Yeah, he was a former Bear for a minute.
Nate Poole?
Yeah.
Or
McCown was.
No, McCown. Yeah, he went everywhere. Yeah, he's been everywhere.
I guess it would be easier to say where he hasn't been, right?
Interesting fact on Josh McCown.
Uh-oh.
He's the reason why quarterbacks have to wear the green sticker on the back of their helmets.
Why is that?
I don't remember what team it was. It might have been Arizona with Denny Green. But so the rule is that only one player on the field can get radio reception. So it's usually like a linebacker on defense and then a quarterback. Well, Josh McCown was going in and playing receiver. So he would go in and he would get the calls in his helmet. So he thought you're not allowed to go in there now. So the green sticker on the back of the helmet lets the referees know that he gets radio reception, so they can't go in and do those plays where he'd actually have to change his helmet or something like that.
That's interesting. Did not know that.
I think that
random fact.
I think that was here when Denny Green was the coach. I think it was when it was because he lost his starting job, or he wasn't a starter yet, and he went in at receiver a couple plays, and all of a sudden green stickers started showing up back of everybody's helmet. They were like, "What?"
See, is a Bear? I don't think there's any Bear fan that you can mention Denny Green to, and you just don't hear like him just saying, "You want to crown him? Crown their ass." I just think that
I was at that game too.
I just feel that like it just goes through any Bear fan's head that whenever you say Denny Green.
Trust me, it goes through every Cardinals fan's head too. Trust me. So that was the wild card round. Gosh, you went 1-3, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't really recall, but this week's the next week.
You went 1-3.
Well, that was in 2019. This is the new decade, right?
No, Adam, it was 4 days ago, man.
All right,
it was after January.
I'm
gonna man, just own it. Just hug it.
We recorded on a Saturday. I wasn't really thinking things through.
Okay.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yep, we're gonna have different picks this week, and I'm gonna go 4-0.
Is that it?
Yes, it is. Actually, I'm going 5-0 because you can count my other one, my college championship game, as a lock too. 5-0.
Down 888-769 Adam. Get my free pick of the week
on a free recorded line, and you're gonna hear me on a Tuesday with my betting podcast. Don't pick these with my co-host Eric Cohen.
Don't do what we do, please.
Oh, mercy.
So, other quick NFL news. Panthers hired Matt Rule from Baylor. 7 years, $62 million contract.
7 years.
With $10 million in incentives on top of it.
The 7 years, 62, see, that's good money, but the 7 years, that's a long time to have a coach on the books, right?
Yes.
Especially a first-year coach. I mean,
yes.
I mean, Jesus, I can only see maybe 5. What's the standard right now?
So he called what's that? Just under $9 million a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, Belichick's number one at just over 10 something, like 10.5 mil. John Gruden's 10 million. And then you have 4 or 5 guys at 8. My favorite part about this deal, there's 2 favorite parts. Is one, they called the Giants and said the Giants could match the offer. The Giants are like, no. Nope. So yeah, have a good day, buddy.
We got something else for the Giants.
And then my other favorite part is today I was reading that another team owner who wouldn't name themselves, but it was the owner, and this reporter talked to an owner, and the owner is pissed that Matt Rule set the coaching price tag at this level now.
Well, I mean, if you're going to find someone to pay, right? I mean,
it's Cleveland, right? It's got to be Cleveland,
right? And what these agents have been able to pull off for these coaches is just unbelievable. This year.
They have a new owner in the Panthers. He's trying to make a splash, right? Matt Rule was probably going to the Giants. He has history there. If he was going to leave at all. So he probably had to give him a little bit more on there. But there's a lot of question marks in Carolina, right?
Yeah, I'm just, man, it's not one of those hires where I'm just like, wow, that's a great hire. I'm not saying it's a terrible hire by any means, but
we don't know. I mean,
it's just not one of those things where, like, I can say Rivera, good hire by the Redskins.
Absolutely.
Good hire. And I can say,
because he's got a track record.
When we get into Dallas, I can say good, but I can't say, I don't say, like, what was that about? But I just can't say great hire. Yeah, not at $62 million over 7 years.
My favorite part about college coaches going to the NFL is the following. They say, man, he turned around Temple and Baylor, who are perennial bad teams. They're not good at all. You've got to, for a coach to do that, college, you're going and recruiting kids to fit your system, right? NFL, you only get generally 1 pick for 6 rounds, and then have all this other stuff to do on top of it. You're dealing with growth. It's totally different system. That's why you see a lot of college coaches just fall on their faces, type of a deal. I don't know how it's going to work out, but that's a hell of a contract. It better work out for the Panthers, or they're
you're on the hook for a long time. They're going to eat that contract by year 3. Watch.
No. He gets 4 or 5 years minimum just because of that contract.
We'll see.
And you eat the final 2. Right? Yeah, he is.
So we'll see.
But the hire I love, and I hate to say this because I think Dallas is going to be back with this pick, Mike McCarthy, formerly of the Green Bay Packers, signs with the Dallas Cowboys. I almost said Mavericks.
Mark Cuban gets the job done and Brees hires outside the box.
So Mike McCarthy, 13 years in Green Bay, 1 Super Bowl ring, 9 of the 13 years he made the playoffs. Solid. Except for his last.
But you know what, though? The problem
3 or 4.
9 of the 13 years, only 1 Super Bowl win, though. I mean, and they had talent in Green Bay, right?
Yeah, but they lost to the Cardinals a couple of times in the playoffs. So, better team beat them. No, that was the issue was they weren't spending any money on defense or anything. And they were scoring to keep up with teams. It's just they couldn't stop anybody on there, right? Here's the question you got all the time with Dallas, though, is McCarthy's kind of a run of my way kind of a guy. And right now they're saying the right things where Jerry's saying he'll have control over his staff and his players. But then at the same time, Jerry Jones says he has 2 or 3 coaches still under contract and he wants them to come back, i.e. Kellen Moore, who is definitely coming back now, which Mike McCarthy calls his own plays. He does not have an OC that calls plays. He refuses to give up his play calling ability. He did it 1 year in Green Bay, and then he promptly took it back. So how long is this relationship going to work?
No, I think it's a 1 year gap anyway. Kellen Moore's he's moving on, right? I mean, wasn't he supposed to be the heir apparent at one point in time? 2 years ago, or a year ago when they were talking about Witten going, him going away and everything else, and. He's a Jerry Jones guy for sure, but I just don't think I don't think he's long for Dallas anymore.
Who?
That Moore's long.
Kellen Moore? Yeah.
I don't think he's long for Dallas.
But they just hired him. That's why I was like, are we thinking of the same person here? Well, they announced that he's coming back and he's under contract.
Who knows what? I mean, maybe him and McCarthy sat down and came up with something that.
My point on it is no. Jerry Jones said you're taking Kellen Moore. It's because he grooms these guys. He did the same thing with Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett started off as a low assistant, and then he was groomed into that. And then he was forced into OC with Wade Phillips, and then basically Wade Phillips. The second he faltered, Jason Garrett gets promoted. Who coaches under those deals?
Yeah, no, this is one of those ones where you're kind of shaking your head, but I think Mike McCarthy's going to have a full grip on what goes on here. I really do. Maybe. It could just be one of these things where McCarthy likes the guy still. Like they probably have some sort of relationship, and he's familiar with the players. I think it's still. I think McCarthy calls the play still, but I just think that it's a 1 year deal. I think.
I don't disagree. I know, but it just shows that Jerry Jones isn't going to relinquish like he says he's going to. But my favorite part of the press conference was McCarthy was asked, because he was involved in that Dez catch non-catch deal back in the day. McCarthy was asked if that catch was by Dez was a catch or not, and he says, quote, "It was a great catch. I can say that now, but it wasn't then, technically." What a great sidestep.
But why even ask him that question, though?
Just the media.
I mean, can't you come up with a better question?
Because if he answers that and goes, it wasn't a catch. We deserve to win that game. Then you're going to piss off all your Dallas fans, right? So then other news, of course, we talked about Redskins hired Rivera. We talked about that last week, where
Chico.
Ron Rivera goes and he gets Jack Del Rio as his defensive coordinator. They just got to get some bodies in the Redskins. They're giving him a long enough deal. I think they stick with him. I think this is going to be a positive move for the Redskins. The Browns are the only coaching job open still. They're pretty much interviewing everyone on the planet.
Steve, I hear that you're heading out there on Tuesday for an interview.
I've already talked to him.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I took a binder.
Okay.
I took a binder and said...
Did you bring all your football information?
No, so what I did was I walked in with a binder, and I held it up, and I said, this is what we need to do, guys, to get successful. And I lit it with a lighter, and it just burned all up, and I said, it's what we need to do, folks, and I just walked out.
You just exited?
Just Mike dropped it. My ass dropped it. I just let the ashes go to the ground. And at one point, they were trying to use a fire extinguisher, and I was like hitting.
So you're officially saying that you're not going to accept that job?
What I'm saying is they need to burn it down and start over.
Right,
Doesn't matter who they bring in. They gotta. It's an awful. Yeah. And speaking, and I left this for last because I'm still angry about this.
You're not even.
The Giants hire what?
You're not even a fan, really, though.
The Giants? Oh no, I was a big Giants fan growing up.
Oh, growing up.
Yeah, I have. Oh yeah, you haven't seen? Oh yeah, in that little closet underneath the stairs, I have all my Giants gear in there and everything still. Yeah.
Are you recording?
I have a clock. I made clocks and stuff, like a football helmet clock with the Giants logos on it and stuff. I was crafty, and I made all. Yeah, I love Lawrence Taylor. Love Mark Bavaro, Lawrence Taylor.
LT.
You gotta remember, growing up in Phoenix. Well, you don't have to remember this because you don't know. But you had the Cowboys and you had the Broncos. That's why I kind of root for the Broncos to this day, is because I hate the Cowboys, and I wasn't a big Rams fan either. But those were the teams that you got here back then, because the only thing you do was watch what was on television, and they had the rights, so that's what you had to watch. And I fell in love with Lawrence Taylor after he broke Joe Theismann's leg.
That was still one of the most. Yeah, that's a targeting play right there.
Beautiful. But the Giants hired Joe Judge. Who?
Yeah, I think I said that. Who?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it sounds like remember the Stallone movie where he was like the judge?
I am the judge. Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. That's who I thought of right away when they announced this. I'm like, what? They making a new movie?
Joe Judge was the wide receiver and special teams coach of the Patriots this year. 38 years old. He was in line to possibly get the Mississippi State job because he went to school there. Nobody knows who he is. But he went in and he wowed the Dave Gettleman in the interview, they say. That he was more prepared than anybody else they interviewed. Here's my thing, though. The Giants are conservative, and they do things their way organization. Like, they do it the right way, the football way, the old school way. And they just went outside the box on this hire like crazy. And here's my other side. And the reason why they're saying is because they're saying, well, he was on the staff of Nick Saban. He was on the staff of Bill Belichick. That stuff don't rub off on people. Like, what do they think? You went to bed at night and learned some stuff?
According to WEEI out of New York,
yep.
He aced the press conference. He won the press conference. His opening press conference, he won.
My favorite. He kept talking about punching people in the mouth for 60 minutes and stuff like that.
He won the press conference, Steve. I mean, you got to go out there your first day, and you got to win that press conference.
I'm calling it right now. Giants are winning the Super Bowl in 2021 because Judge won the press conference.
Yes,
he wants to hit people in the mouth for 60 minutes.
Would you rather have him not win the press conference? At least he won the press conference.
It's just a joke. It's a joke of a hire. It's just absolutely. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing. It's just stupid. You lost out on Matt Rule, who you wanted, but you have other choices. They pissed off the OC for the Patriots, where he doesn't want to go work for them anymore. David Gettleman's a joke. He just hired him because it comes down to he has somebody that'll listen to him. It's just an absolute joke. I hate it. I don't like anything about it. But I will say I follow a lot of Giants media people, and they've been doing Twitter polls and everything. And a lot of people are like, let's see what happens. Like, people are really optimistic. I think they're just happy Pat Shurmur's gone.
I mean, you get a guy that comes in, he says, it's a blue collar. It's hard work. It's in your face. We're not going to back down from anybody. Aren't you ready to go out there and win some football games now? I just gave you a press conference. We're going to win some football games. We are the New York Giant Football Club.
My favorite part is, like, people are like, New York's blue collar. You got Wall Street. You got a $5 billion mall right next to MetLife Stadium that they built.
The cheapest rent's like $1,500 a month.
Literally, the mall, the mall next to MetLife Stadium has an indoor ski resort.
When I think blue collar, I don't think New York. I'm sorry.
I know, that's my point.
Maybe. Well, but
no, you have
in New Jersey.
Yeah,
so I mean,
you have that blue collar element. I mean, you do that smash mouth. I'm gonna do whatever. We're gonna go get them.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
You have that style, but that's my point. Is like he's totally like saying all that stuff, and it's like it's not the old '80s pound it down your face kind of a deal there. I mean, we don't know anything about this guy. Nobody does. Nobody knows what he's going to do. So I guess the thing's out.
His Wikipedia page just came up the other day, right?
I know, right? Yeah, I linked it on there for you if you want to click on that.
It just started, right?
Yeah. It's just for an organization as big as the Giants and as proud as the Giants are and everything, they just made 3 bad hires now. McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, and now this guy. It's upsetting. It upsets me to my core for some reason. But anyway, let's get on, Adam, and let's do some fun talk now. And let's get to the NFL Divisional round this weekend.
Yes, we are into the Divisional round. The next week, we got 4 more games this weekend, and now we're gonna miss out. We miss out on the game that I wanted. They messed that up for me for a week at least, but I still think we're gonna get there. I'm still confident we're gonna get there. So the first game of the week.
Well, who messed it up?
Well, the Vikings messes everything up for everybody.
I know. I just wanted to rub it in that the Vikings did it.
Yeah, okay. We understood what you're saying. But 2:35 on Saturday, we got the Vikings traveling cross country, going to Santa Clara, the home of the 49ers.
Yes.
And the Vikings are going to get smashed.
So the 49ers have finally gotten healthy. They're getting a lot of their injured players back. They had a bye week last week, obviously. But here's the problem, though, Adam. The Vikings aren't a typical 6 seed, man. They're actually a good, solid team. They have a strong defense, and this defense that just throttled the Saints. I talked about that earlier.
They have Kirk Cousins. Is their quarterback still?
Their running game
is their quarterback.
Their running game. They have one of the best running backs in the league in Dalvin Cook. And he can keep possession of the ball away from the 49ers offense. So if Kirk Cousins doesn't have one of his patented bad games that he is prone to have, he can command that offense. And here's the thing, though. Injuries have crept up on the Vikings this week at practice. Thielen has to get stitches in his ankle this week because he gets tangled up with somebody in practice. There's all this secretive going around about what happened and all of that stuff. Like, what the heck's happening in Vikings camp this week where guys are getting injured and having stitches on their ankles on there as you go into that?
Yeah, it's something that you don't want to see, that you're getting injured at your own practices where you need stitches. I mean, there must have been some intense practices going on there.
Yeah. Is Zimmer working him too hard this week? So they're not going to come in fresh. That's an absolute concern you got going into this game because they're so secretive about it on there. So, Adam, we'll just go ahead and make our picks while we go through these because there's only 4 left.
Yes, we will make our picks, and I'm going to surprise everybody.
Let me guess. You're going Vikings. Just kidding.
I would not go Vikings if the Vikings were playing the Cardinals at this point. Not to rub it in, but I wouldn't. I would go with the Cardinals because, I mean, the Vikings don't belong here. They should not have beat. They should not have won that game against the Saints. If Drew Brees, I'm not even going to go back on my tangent.
God, here we go.
Give me the 49ers all day long. Jimmy Garoppolo lights them up. He may even get to sit out the fourth quarter because they're going to be that far ahead.
Okay, we're going to get you drug tested.
I'll fail.
Because the Vikings are going into Santa Clara. They are hitting the 49ers in the mouth. Their defense is going to do it.
Nobody can keep. Only the Giants can hit people in the mouth now.
Oh,
Come on.
right. Vikings are going to go in there. Zimmer and that defense is going to have it for George Kittle. George Kittle's the guy you got to shut down on that offense. It's going to be an amazing game to watch. Kirk Cousins is going to go back to the NFC Championship game where he'll probably fall apart next week. But I got the Vikings beating the Niners this weekend. And you, because of your Vikings hate, have the Niners winning.
No, because it's a better pick.
So next up on Saturday, we have the Titans at the Ravens, who I've adopted as my home team in the playoffs since my Cardinals didn't make it. 6:15 p.m. Arizona time on Saturday. Here's the overview. Tennessee is one hot team right now, Adam, as you know.
No, the Titans, yeah, they're put them in the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't even know why we're playing this game. Except they have to beat Lamar Jackson, and that's not happening.
Derrick Henry has been unstoppable. The Titans' defense is ranked 21 in the league. which is the issue. Can they slow down the Ravens offense with Lamar Jackson with that ranking on the defense? Mark Ingram is a game-time decision as of now, but how will that affect the Ravens offense? It's going to probably slow it down a little bit, but they're still going to be dominant because Lamar Jackson. Titans have been in playoff-type games for weeks now. 4 weeks now? 5 weeks now? The Ravens just almost had 2 weeks off. They had last week off. Then the last game of the season, they rested a bunch of people. So, Adam, can the Titans play a full 60 perfect minutes of football to beat the Ravens at home in Baltimore this weekend?
The Titans could play a perfect 60 minutes of football, but Lamar Jackson can play a perfect 65 minutes of football and still win the game. The Ravens will take this without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. The Ravens are winning this one. And the Titans have been a great story this year. This is a huge mismatch, and that they're just not going to be able to score enough and keep the ball. Derrick Henry is who you got to obviously shut down on that Tennessee offense, and the Ravens are capable of doing it. Ravens are winning this game. Yeah, absolutely. So the Sunday games this year, Adam, are starting a lot later than they normally do. Normally we get an 11 a.m. start time, and it's 1:05 Phoenix time this time for the first game on Sunday. And it's the game that I am least interested in. Texans at the Chiefs, 1:05 on Sunday. Only thing that brings it intrigue is the Texans beat the Chiefs way back in Week 6. Texans defense is getting healthier with J.J. Watt back. They're gelling a little bit. Rumor has it.
Okay, just making sure.
Rumor has it.
Okay.
The Texans had to go to OT against the Bills, despite the Bills struggling on offense during the game. We talked about that earlier. The Chiefs, coming off a bye, can struggle. Deshaun Watson ran last week because he had to, because his offensive line was letting the Bills' defensive line just olaying through the Texans' offensive line there. And the Chiefs' defense is going to make him run a lot again. Adam, do the Texans have just enough again to beat the Chiefs?
No, you know what? They don't. But I'm looking forward to this matchup. I'm looking forward of the two quarterbacks the Bears passed on, and the battle.
I knew that was going to be your angle.
The battles of the Mitch wannabes, because obviously we picked Mitch and he's better than both of them, right? I mean, he was a number 2 pick overall. We traded up for him.
Okay, get over the Mitch thing.
Go ahead and give me the perfect 10, as he wanted to point out to us, and I'm going to take Mahomes. I'm going to take the Chiefs, and they're gonna get this win.
I agree. The Texans were lucky to escape last week, and if the Chiefs aren't going to do what the Bills did. The Chiefs aren't going to go into this game and implode in that fourth quarter on several drives. Texans' time is coming up. Texans have another year or two, and I think the problem with the Texans is their coaching. I think they get that solved. Meaning their head coach. I think they get that solved a little bit, and I think they'll become a better team. But definitely, Chiefs are winning this one. You got to worry about that Andy Reid playoff disaster deal that they have, though. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely thinking the Chiefs are winning that one.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs will take care of that one, and I'm looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be interesting. I like the quarterback matchup still.
I'm still going to watch it, but it's my least favorite of the weekend. However, Adam, I'm going to be interested in seeing what you're going to go with on this one, because another NFC North foe. You got the Seattle Seahawks going to Green Bay Lambeau. I don't know what the weather is for this weekend. 4:40 Phoenix time kickoff on Sunday, meaning that's a late kickoff in Lambeau. I'm assuming it's going to be cold.
So it's not going to be 65 and sunny or 65 and warm.
This is basically two teams that people don't know how good they are. Everybody's wondering, is Packers for real? Are the Seahawks as good as they look? So will the game be too much for the Packers' first-year head coach against one of the best coaches in Pete Carroll in Seattle? Seattle is starting to gel with all of its replacement players for all their injuries, meaning their running backs, receivers are coming back, things like that. Can Seattle's defense keep this game close so Russell Wilson can win it in the fourth quarter, Adam? More importantly, can Aaron Rodgers beat the Seattle defense to keep the score far enough apart to keep a late Seattle run from happening? What says you?
You know, just it's one of these games where, man, I'm really if it was going to be, they're expecting snow in Green Bay on Saturday. Saturday or Sunday night, about 18 degrees at kickoff, they're saying. It's cold for Seattle. I mean, Seattle, they're used to the wet.
Seattle gets cold, man.
Yeah, but, I mean.
Not that cold.
Not
I realize
that cold,
that. But
right?
they get cold.
I mean, they get rain and it's cold. Yeah, it's dreary. I get all that.
They can see their breath.
Right, they can see their breath for sure. And, yeah, you know what? The turf at Lambeau Field has not been that great this year. It's been an issue.
The frozen tundra.
And there's a lot of reasons to pick Green Bay in this one, Aaron Rodgers, but
they have more talent. They have more talent.
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take Russell Wilson, and I'm going to keep my dream alive of a rematch, part 3 of the 49ers and the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to hope for. So I'm going to stick with Seattle and hope that Green Bay just goes away too. I'm hoping Minnesota goes away. I'm hoping Green Bay goes away. And it's all just a dream because I keep looking for the Bears on this game and I don't see them and I don't know why.
I think Seattle's winning this game as well. I think the problem with this game is Aaron Rodgers is going to be disappointed in his coaching this weekend. Like I said, Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches in the NFL. First-year head coach.
Ready too. I mean, those teams are
yes.
ready. Pete Carroll doesn't. You can never go into a game and say Pete Carroll did not prepare his team.
Like even when they lose, like when they lost to the Cardinals in week 16 this year at home, Seattle still was there to play. You know, it was just a bad matchup for him. I just don't see it. Green Bay has more talent than Seattle does. I just think Seattle is just the more combined team. And the other side of it is the Seahawks have had to play to get into the playoffs, to get their seeding. They were really injured at the end of the year. And I think Green Bay's kind of coasted. And I think that's going to hurt them when they're coming out. And Aaron Rodgers is just going to have one of those games where it's just going to be ho-hum again on his downside of his career. I'm calling it.
You know, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. And unfortunately, Steve, you're going to go, 3-2 this week. But hey, besides that, I mean,
am I gonna win an extra game than there is, or am I gonna lose an extra game? The championship.
Championship game too.
That's right.
My math skills still being in question today, but
yes, okay,
right, well, that's fine.
I'm like, wow, there's only 4 games out.
Well, could have been 5. There's 5. I counted 5.
So what are my 2 losses?
You
think
losses,
the Vikings
and
for
sure, and then in the championship.
LSU.
Yeah. So. But besides that,
good. I don't have to waste my time watching them.
No, you don't. I've already told you how the games are going to go. Don't forget to give me a call at 1-800. Don't bet that.
You got to do it with that raspy. Got to do it with that raspy voice they have.
Anyway.
So that is the podcast. Football heavy this week. Definitely look for the video to come out. Hopefully we can have that out if everything went well on our test. We'll start streaming live here. Hopefully next week. And we'll go from there. Adam, where can everybody reach you at?
You can reach me at Adam Michael Adam Michaels 05.
Forgot.
You
can get me at SMAC500. Of course, you can also get definitely like the Facebook page at on Facebook at TheMainEventPod, where of course we'll be streaming if you're interested in seeing our faces as we do stuff with our logos and everything. Until then, we will see y'all next week. Calling you. Who's calling you?